Hey everybody, this is Miss Secor. Um, this is the second time I recorded this PowerPoint because the first time I recorded it, I had like an image of my folder on the screen and not the actual PowerPoint. So here I go again. So this is our back cover assignment. It's worth 50 possible points. The rough sketch is due by Friday, April the 17th. I know that's not a regular day, but like normally in class, you would do the rough sketch and then you'd show it to me. And now I'm going to give you a little extra time to work on it. And then you're going to send it to me. And then your final completed drawing after I look at your rough sketch is due by Wednesday, April 22nd. So you're going to submit both the rough sketch and final drawings as JPEGs through Blackboard Message. And you're going to want to make sure your JPEGs are clear, large enough for me to see, cropped to the edge of the image. And you're going to save your rough sketch image as JPEG, your JPEG as your name, rough sketch back. And you're going to save your final back cover JPEG as your name back cover. And then I kind of screwed up here, so I have to go back to the beginning. So let's talk about back cover design. Did that make you dizzy because I went so fast? So the designs of the back cover, they feed into the front cover. They share similar colors and or characteristics. So we're going to look at Zoo's story. Zoo's story, this first half is the cover, this back half obviously is the back cover. Zoo's story uses, like on the cover, it uses this yellow ochre color, this black, and this turquoise blue. If you like scroll over to the left, you'll see there's a little bit of the blue from the front cover on the back. There's some of the yellow ochre here and here, and there's this large space of black, which is going to give you a space to put your hook or, as well as your autobiography if you want to include it there. But a lot of times that autobiographies are included in the flap of the back cover. So that's one thing that these two share is the colors. Then another thing they share as part of this design. So we have these lines that form the bench here. And by the way, this is a silhouette of a bench of people. And we have the lines that form the silhouette of the bench here, which is in reverse. So this is black on yellow ochre. This is yellow ochre on black. And then the repetition of those same lines can be seen on part of the back cover and on the binding of the book. So because it's using similar colors and the similar motif of lines, it's the back and the front feed into one another. Now let's look at Monster Realm. We're going to look at the colors first. So a lot of these colors that's used on the cover, with the exception of the red and the yellow, those are considered cool colors. So there's blues and blue grays and greens and purples. So and then like there's also these browns in here. So we move over to the back cover. There's not so much the blues, but there's the greens, and the greens are mixed with brown. So there's like browny greens and then gray greens down here. So even though the colors aren't exactly the same, they're related to one another because of the use of the greens and the use of the greens and the use of the browns and the use of the browns. So that's another thing. So on the front cover, this organic design of, I'm guessing these are roots and limbs. They form this kind of arch over the characters. And then that design of that arch feeds in to this aerial view of this landscape and water. So there's like this interconnectedness to it where it's using the same kind of curved lines. So those are other things that tie the two into each other. Even the lines from the landscape flow into the cover. So something else that's nice about it is because you always have to think about like where are you laying out your text, and it should work in conjunction with the text on the cover and the text on the back. So the nice thing about this is that on Monster Realm, the title is in the upper right. On the back cover, the hook is on the lower left. So they kind of, you know, like there's this juxtaposition of the two where it kind of creates this tension back and forth. So let's move on to some other ones. This one, American Born Chinese, is really great because if you like put the front and back cover directly next to each other, this drawing of this boy, half's on one side, half's on the other. Let's talk about the colors now. The colors on the front, like there's these yellows and orange, and the details, and even though there's not a ton of contrast between the yellow and orange, there's enough contrast where we can tell the difference between the two. But then when you move to the back cover, the orange lines on the yellow have been subdued more so that they're closer in value and they don't stand out as much as the from one another. And one of the reasons that the artist or designer did this is because if you have the orange lines on the back stand out too much, then you couldn't really read like the testimonials and the hook that are on the back. So you need those colors to be more subdued than the black that is the text. So that's another thing. Then another nice thing that connects the two together is the title is in this lower right corner, and this caricature of someone who's Chinese, like they used to have in, maybe they still do, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, in cartoons and comic books and television, like Chinese people were like this horrible caricature. They always had like these buck teeth, but the shape of this television set and the upper left corner of the back cover juxtaposes to the title that's in the lower right corner of the cover. Then one more thing I want to point out, like, so the cover is what grabs you. So the cover on this one has like this bolder kind of reddish orange that's included on this little transformer or whatever this guy is, football player, who knows, probably a transformer on the cover, because you really want to grab people with the cover. But that same like dark red orange is not on the back cover, because you still want to have this connection to images, but you want the front to be more bold. Okay, let's go to something else. Like these are some other examples. So like this cover Dirt, it's like a tornado water. So this tornado shape is the same as the shape on the back. The cover uses this green earthy color, and then the back still uses like these kind of earthy colors of this dark brown and then this kind of subdued blue, green, gray color. So those are reflective of one another. The style that both of these has been drawn in, even though there's people in it, it's the same sort of watercolor splattery style in both of them. The text in the back is in black on this light background. The text in the front is on this light background, and it's in a dark color as well. So then this is like this Ken Kesey cover. It's really fairly simple. There's only 2 colors used in the whole thing. There's a space for the like hook on the back and a testimonial up here. And there's this image on the front that's done so that it looks like a woodcut or linoleum block. So this is like a really simple way of connecting the two. That's also on the back binding, which you guys don't have to do a back binding, but there's this little leaf that connects the hook to the drawing. Here's just some other examples where this is a really simple color cover and back cover, but like the colors are exactly the same and the title goes from the front to the back. This one is a little more complicated in that, so there's only a little bit of this red on the front. It's a really bright red. And then there's this black that contrasts against the color of this man's skin and the background. So there's a high contrast in the front between really darks and relatively lighter colors. On the background, even though we're still using the red and we're still using a toned down black, see, there's not so much contrast between these because you want it to connect, but you want to be able to read the hook and the testimonials on this. There's a similarity of color where there's more red here, but because the contrast is toned down of the other colors, the blackish color that's on it, the red doesn't pop out as much as this red does on the cover because there's more contrast. Okay, these are some other ones, like it's just a continuation of what I'm saying. Like, so this one, it just seems like full of action, the way it's been drawn. So everything's at these angles, and the angles of the front cover correspond to the angles of the back cover. There's brighter colors on the front cover. There's less bright colors on the back cover. And again, there's space for the hook and the testimonials on both of these. This one, Persepolis, I just wanted to talk about this because this has a border that goes around the front. This has a border that goes around the back. The red on the front is brighter than the red on the back because the front, you want it to pop out. This berserk, I'm starting to want to read these berserks because they seem pretty interesting. This one is like the back is so much more chaotic than the front. Now, I don't know if that's good or that's bad. When I see the two of them together, it kind of makes me dizzy. I like the front, like it's kind of subdued with this more colorful drawing with more contrast in the center. What connects the two are this color is red, this color is this black, this blue color that's repeated in the back and the front, and the use of these squares or frames where each of these portraits or images are on the back. But remember, there's still room for the hook. This looks like it's like a video and not a book. Uh-oh, boo, 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 but still. Okay, so I already went over this. That the rough sketch is due Friday, April 17th. The final completed drawing is due April 22nd. You're going to submit both of these through Blackboard. Make sure the images are clear. Make sure they're large enough for me to see. Make sure they're cropped to the edge. Make sure you save them as instructed in the directions so that I know who sent it and what assignment it is. Draw your rough sketches in your sketchbook in pencil with the pencil lines dark enough for me to see in a JPEG. The completed drawings for the back covers should be on Bristol board, same size border as your cover, which says it down here too. If you use a 1/4 or 1/2 inch border on your cover, do the same thing on the back, be consistent. Your completed drawings for the cover should be in ink. The back cover should be in ink and in color. There should be a space for the hook. The colors of the back cover should be similar or complementary to those of the front cover. There should be some design element that reflects or is similar to that of the front cover. So like if there's a border design in the front, maybe there should be a border design in the back, or if the image on the front can feed into the back cover. Leave a blank space for your autobiography if you choose to include the autobiography on the back, but definitely leave a blank space for the hook on the back. You don't have to write the words in for the hook or autobiography. If you do write them in, they better look damn good. Here's just another example where, because the cover is has this burlap texture to it that connects the front and the back, the use of this kind of brownish black connects the front and the back as well. And these, like this right here and this right here, this is a front cover flap that folds under, and this is the back cover flap that folds under. Y'all, I'm not asking y'all to do those. This is just another example I wanted to show you because it's really nice how the back and the front designs and colors connect. The front color uses brighter colors. It's got this bright red in it, whereas the back cover doesn't. So the craftsmanship requirements are: take your time, put care and effort into your work, do not rush, ask questions if you need help, and then tell me to quit screaming. So email, Blackboard message me your questions first. And if we can't resolve them that way, I'm going to be checking, pretty regularly. Then I'll have you call me between the hours of 10 and 4 at 346-241-2459. Okay, thank you, and I still miss you. Goodbye.